Arjuna now addresses Krishna, his friend and charioteer. Arjuna: Krishna the changeless, halt my chariot there where the warriors, bold for the battle, face their foemen. Between the armies, there let me see them, the men I must fight with. Gathered together now at the bidding of him their leader, blind Dhritarashtra's evil offspring. Such are my foes in the war that is coming. And then Krishna, subduer of the senses, thus requested by Arjuna, the conqueror of sloth, drove that most splendid of chariots into a place between the two armies, confronting Bhishma, Drona, and all those other rulers of the earth. And he said, O Prince, behold the assembled Kurus. Then the prince looked on the array, and in both armies he recognized fathers and grandfathers, teachers, uncles, sons, brothers, grandsons, fathers-in-law, dear friends, and many other familiar faces. And when he saw all those ranks of kinsmen, he was filled with deep compassion, and he spoke despairingly as follows. Arjuna: Krishna, Krishna, now as I look on these my kinsmen arrayed for battle, my limbs are weakened, my mouth is parching, my body trembles, my hair stands upright. My skin seems burning, the bow Gandiva slips from my hand, my brain is whirling round and round. I can stand no longer. Krishna, I see such omens of evil. What can we hope from this killing of kinsmen? What do I want with victory, empire, or their enjoyment? What is this crime I am planning, O Krishna? Murder most hateful, murder of brothers. Am I indeed so greedy for greatness? And having spoken thus, Arjuna threw aside his arrows and his bow in the midst of the battlefield. And he sat down on the seat of the chariot, and his heart was overcome with sorrow. And then Sri Krishna spoke to him, saying, Arjuna, is this hour of battle the time for scruples and fancies? Are they worthy of you who seek enlightenment? Any brave man who merely hopes for fame or heaven would despise them. What is this weakness? It's beneath you. Is it for nothing men call you the foe consumer? Shake off this cowardice, Arjuna, and stand up. Arjuna: Bhishma and Drona are noble and ancient, worthy of the deepest reverence. How can I greet them with arrows in battle? If I kill them, how can I ever enjoy my wealth or any other pleasure? It will be cursed with blood guilt. I would much rather spare them and eat the bread of a beggar. Which will be worse, to win this war or to lose it? I scarcely know. Is this real compassion that I feel, or only a delusion? My mind gropes about in darkness. I cannot see where my duty lies. Krishna, I beg you, tell me frankly and clearly what I ought to do. I am your disciple. I put myself into your hands. Show me the way. Not this world's kingdom, supreme, unchallenged. No, nor the throne of the gods in heaven could ease that sorrow that numbs my senses. Sri Krishna: Your words are wise, Arjuna, but your sorrow is for nothing. The truly wise mourn neither for the living nor for the dead. There never was a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor any of these kings, nor is there any future in which we shall cease to be. Just as the dweller in this body passes through childhood, youth and old age, so at death he merely passes into another kind of body. The wise are not deceived by that. Feelings of heat and cold, pleasure and pain are caused by the contact of the senses with their objects. They come and they go, never lasting long. You must accept them. A serene spirit accepts pleasure and pain with an even mind and is unmoved by either. He alone is worthy of immortality. That which is non-existent can never come into being, and that which is can never cease to be. Those who have known the inmost reality know also the nature of is and is not. That reality which pervades the universe is indestructible. No one has power to change the changeless. Bodies are said to die, but that which possesses the body is eternal. It cannot be limited or destroyed, and therefore you must fight. Some say this Atman is slain, and others call it the slayer. They know nothing. How shall it slay, or who shall slay it? Know this Atman, unborn, undying, never ceasing, never beginning, deathless, birthless, unchanging forever. How can it die the death of the body? Knowing it birthless, knowing it deathless, knowing it endless, forever unchanging, dream not you do the deed of the killer. Dream not the power is yours to command it. Worn out garments are shed by the body. Worn out bodies are shed by the dweller within the body. New bodies are donned by the dweller like garments. Not wounded by weapons, not burned by fire, not dried by the wind, not wetted by water. Such is the Atman. Not dried, not wetted, not burned, not wounded, innermost element everywhere, always, being of beings, changeless, eternal forever and ever. I have explained to you the true nature of the Atman. Now listen to the method of Karma Yoga. If you can understand and follow it, you will be able to break the chains of desire which bind you to your actions. You have the right to work, but for the work's sake only. You have no right to the fruits of work. Desire for the fruits of work must never be your motive in working. Never give way to laziness either. Perform every action with your heart fixed on the Supreme Lord. Renounce attachment to the fruits. Be even-tempered in success and failure, for it is this evenness of temper which is meant by yoga. Work done with anxiety about results is far inferior to work done without such anxiety in the calm of self-surrender. Seek refuge in the knowledge of Brahman. They who work selfishly for results are miserable. In the calm of self-surrender, you can free yourself from the bondage of virtue and vice during this very life. Devote yourself, therefore, to reaching union with Brahman. To unite the heart with Brahman and then to act, that is the secret of non-attached work. In the calm of self-surrender, the seers renounce the fruits of their actions and so reach enlightenment. Then they are free from the bondage of rebirth and pass to that state which is beyond all evil. Arjuna. Krishna, how can one identify a man who is firmly established and absorbed in Brahman? In what manner does an illumined soul speak? How does he sit? How does he walk? Krishna. He knows bliss in the Atman and wants nothing else. Cravings torment the heart. He renounces cravings. I call him illumined. Not shaken by adversity, not hankering after happiness, free from fear, free from anger, free from the things of desire. I call him a seer and illumined. The bonds of his flesh are broken. He is lucky and does not rejoice. He is unlucky and does not weep. I call him illumined. The tortoise can draw in his legs. The seer can draw in his senses. I call him illumined. The abstinent run away from what they desire, but carry their desires with them. When a man enters reality, he leaves his desires behind him. Even a mind that knows the path can be dragged from the path. The senses are so unruly, but he controls the senses and recollects the mind and fixes it on me. I call him illumined. Thinking about sense objects will attach you to sense objects. Grow attached and you become addicted. Thwart your addiction, it turns to anger. Be angry and you confuse your mind. Confuse your mind, you forget the lesson of experience. Forget experience, you lose discrimination. Lose discrimination, and you miss life's only purpose. When he has no lust, no hatred, a man walks safely among the things of lust and hatred. To obey the Atman is his peaceful joy. Sorrow melts into that clear peace. His quiet mind is soon established in peace. The uncontrolled mind does not guess that the Atman is present. How can it meditate? Without meditation, where is peace? Without peace, where is happiness? The wind turns a ship from its course upon the waters. The wandering winds of the senses cast man's mind adrift and turn his better judgment from its course. When a man can still the senses, I call him illumined. The recollected mind is awake in the knowledge of the Atman, which is dark night to the ignorant. The ignorant are awake in their sense life, which they think is daylight. To the seer, it is darkness. Water flows continually into the ocean, but the ocean is never disturbed. Desire flows into the mind of the seer, but he is never disturbed. The seer knows peace. The man who stirs up his own lusts can never know peace. He knows peace who has forgotten desire. He lives without craving, free from ego, free from pride. This is the state of enlightenment in Brahman. A man does not fall back from it into delusion. Even at the moment of death, he is alive in that enlightenment. Brahman and he are one. Sri Krishna. You and I, Arjuna, have lived many lives. I remember them all. You do not remember. I am the birthless, the deathless, Lord of all that breathes. I seem to be born. It is only seeming. Only my Maya. I am still master of my Prakriti, the power that makes me. When goodness grows weak, when evil increases, I make myself a body. In every age I come back to deliver the holy, to destroy the sin of the sinner, to establish righteousness. He who knows the nature of my task and my holy birth is not reborn when he leaves this body. He comes to me, flying from fear, from lust and anger. He hides in me his refuge, his safety. Burned clean in the blaze of my being, in me many find home. Whatever wish men bring me in worship, that wish I grant them. Whatever path men travel is my path. No matter where they walk, it leads to me. What is action? What is inaction? Even the wise are puzzled by this question. Therefore, I will tell you what action is. When you know that, you will be free from all impurity. You must learn what kind of work to do and what kind of work to avoid, and how to reach a state of calm detachment from your work. The real nature of action is hard to understand. He who sees the inaction that is in action, and the action that is in inaction, is wise indeed. Even when he is engaged in action, he remains poised in the tranquility of the Atman. The seers say truly that he is wise who acts without lust or scheming for the fruit of the act. His act falls from him. Its chain is broken, melted in the flame of my knowledge. Turning his face from the fruit, he needs nothing. The Atman is enough. He acts and is beyond action. Not hoping, not lusting, bridling body and mind, he calls nothing his own. He acts and earns no evil. What God's will gives, he takes and is contented. Pain follows pleasure. He is not troubled. Gain follows loss. He is indifferent. Of whom should he be jealous? He acts and is not bound by his action. When the bonds are broken, his illumined heart beats in Brahman. His every action is worship of Brahman. Can such acts bring evil? Brahman is the ritual, Brahman is the offering, Brahman is he who offers to the fire that is Brahman. If a man sees Brahman in every action, he will find Brahman. When you have reached enlightenment, ignorance will delude you no longer. In the light of that knowledge, you will see the entire creation within your own Atman and in me. And though you were the foulest of sinners, this knowledge alone would carry you like a raft over all your sin. The blazing fire turns wood to ashes. The fire of knowledge turns all karmas to ashes. On earth, there is no purifier as great as this knowledge. When a man is made perfect in yoga, he knows its truth within his heart. The man of faith, whose heart is devoted, whose senses are mastered, he finds Brahman. Enlightened, he passes at once to the highest, the peace beyond passion. Do not say, God gave us this delusion. You dream you are the doer. You dream that action is done. You dream that action bears fruit. It is your ignorance. It is the world's delusion that gives you these dreams. The Lord is everywhere and always perfect. What does he care for man's sin or for man's righteousness? The Atman is the light. The light is covered with darkness. This darkness is delusion. That is why we dream. When the light of the Atman drives out our darkness, that light shines forth from us, a sun in splendor, the revealed Brahman. When can a man be said to have achieved union with Brahman? When his mind is under perfect control and freed from all desires, so that he becomes absorbed in the Atman and nothing else. The light of a lamp does not flicker in a windless place. That is the simile which describes a yogi of one-pointed mind who meditates upon the Atman. When, through the practice of yoga, the mind ceases its restless movements and becomes still, he realizes the Atman, and it satisfies him entirely. Then he knows that infinite happiness which can be realized by the purified heart, but is beyond the grasp of the senses. He stands firm in this realization. Because of it, he can never again wander from the inmost truth of his being. Now that he holds it, he knows this treasure above all others. Faith so certain shall never be shaken by heaviest sorrow. To achieve this certainty is to know the real meaning of the word yoga. It is the breaking of contact with pain. You must practice this yoga resolutely, without losing heart. Renounce all your desires forever. They spring from willfulness. Use your discrimination to restrain the whole pack of the scattering senses. Patiently, little by little, a man must free himself from all mental distractions with the aid of the intelligent will. He must fix his mind upon the Atman and never think of anything else. No matter where the restless and unquiet mind wanders, it must be drawn back and made to submit to the Atman only. Utterly quiet, made clean of passion, the mind of the yogi knows that Brahman, his bliss, is the highest. Released from evil, his mind is constant in contemplation. The way is easy. Brahman has touched him. That bliss is boundless. His heart is with Brahman. His eye in all things sees only Brahman, equally present, knows his own Atman in every creature and all creation within that Atman. That yogi sees me in all things and all things within me. He never loses sight of me, nor I of him. He is established in union with me and worships me devoutly in all beings. That yogi abides in me, no matter what his mode of life. Who burns with the bliss and suffers the sorrow of every creature within his own heart, making his own each bliss and each sorrow, him I hold highest of all the yogis. And Arjuna says, Krishna, you describe this yoga as a life of union with Brahman, but I do not see how this can be permanent. The mind is so very restless. Restless man's mind is, so strongly shaken in the grip of the senses, gross and grown hard with stubborn desire for what is worldly. How shall he tame it? Truly, I think the wind is no wilder. Sri Krishna says, yes, Arjuna, the mind is restless, no doubt, and hard to subdue, but it can be brought under control by constant practice and by the exercise of dispassion.